think about what we're doing, why they're different lengths or whatever, it's worth thinking about sometimes the magic of our human design. Okay, so let me ask you some questions then. A person of leisure, so said, will never taste the fruits of success. A person of leisure will never taste the fruits of success. Bit of an overstatement, perhaps. What do you define? How do you define success in your life, in life generally? What is your definition of success?
It's very simple for me, and a lot of people might disagree with me, and I respect that. But I would define success as a compilation of failure. To me, that's what success is. It's just a bunch of different failures just thrown together. That's-
I'm trying to make sense of that. A bunch of different failures.
yeah,
How can that
bunch
be?
of
How
different.
can that be
Right.
successful?
Well, okay, so somebody like Guardiola, Pep Guardiola, right? He's failed in marriage, but we think he's very successful. So that's one failure in his life.
Mm,
He's failed as a dancer. He's failed as a model. That's a different kind of failure. He's probably failed as a footballer. We don't know. I don't know that for sure. But I think I read something about him being a model in the past, and we know about his we've read about his family life. He's failed there woefully, but he's managed to succeed. We look at him. Every football
mm,
fan around the world would look at Pep Guardiola and go, "That's a very successful man." We don't look at him as a failure, but his wife might look at him as a failure. You know,
mm.
you never did. You, you weren't able to fulfill your obligations fully as a husband, and if you're judging him on his abilities of being a good husband, he's probably failed. If you're a good husband, you
Yeah.
probably look at him and think, I wouldn't sacrifice my family for that. But we love him. We're football fans. We love him. The guy's is successful. Now, back to the question, just to answer your question. Why I say success is a bunch of failures thrown together is before you can be fully successful, you have to sacrifice a lot of other things. You can't have it all. You can't
No.
have it all. If you want to be successful, look at some of these Hollywood successful actors and actresses. They don't have a successful relationship or yeah, relationship, marriages. Their marriages fail all the time. Some of them been married twice. Now, I'm not saying any other person in any other line of work won't have those sort of misfortunes, if you can call it that. All I'm saying is success requires failure. If you haven't failed, you haven't succeeded. You have to fail. Unless, of course, if you're one of those ones that is just thrown into this, or and I'm talking about people that inherited something. But
Mm.
even then, they would have a different kind of failure, you know, after their success. And for them to keep being successful, because I've seen people that have inherited lots of money from their parents and they squandered it all. So that's failure. So it doesn't necessarily mean if you inherit something, you're going to succeed. So success is just a bunch of failures thrown together. You have to be a failure to be successful, to be truly successful.
I mean, I get all that, but if we're talking about, the vast majority of us who lead ordinary lives and things like that, you may be talking about professional football or managers in football. So they got a very specific way of measuring what we would call success. They win the games with their teams and so on. But for everyday people, if I don't like that expression, but for regular folk like us, how do you define success for you? I mean, does it have to be a specific ambition you've had, a dream you've had to fulfill it, and that defines you as a successful person? Or is it just getting along with people, family and friends? You do what you can to help other people. Is that your definition of success? So if in ordinary lives, rather than famous people's lives where we can visibly see how they've achieved what they've achieved, for ordinary lives, what would you say is a measure of success?
I would say success is relative then. So that's what I would say is relative to. So, like I said, somebody that's been a good husband, looked after his family, is successful in being a family man, where others have failed in being a family man. Because he might have had we don't know, he might have had a really difficult spouse, but yet he's managed to cope very well and make it work. He's had to compromise on a lot of grounds. He's had to forfeit or sacrifice certain, even his hobbies. He's had to sacrifice. So yeah, he's successful in that way. But does the society view him as successful? I think that's the real question. That's why I say success can be relative. So it all depends on what we're looking at. If we're looking at something tangible, then a man like that is not successful. But if we're looking at something that is a treasure, something to be treasured, then that man is successful.
Okay. Yeah. Now, the next, I think it's a Chinese proverb: think before you speak, and do not speak all that you think. Think before you speak, and don't speak all that you think. Now, that's a fairly obvious thing. It's often said, and we've talked about it on here before, that people have three parts to their lives: a public life, what the public see of us; a private life, what we perhaps are our own families or whatever; and